Rejoining us from Washington at the Republican National Committee, Kirsten Kukowski. I don't know if you guys have been talking about this stuff at the office, Kirsten, but it's kind of interesting to hear Ms. Pelosi's bit of hyperbole there.
They're getting a little desperate, aren't they?
So you just, we had a Democratic, in fact, a former advisor to Harry Reid with us a little while ago. He said, hey, look, it's politics, it's hyperbole. Here's the thing, though. As a guy who's been through his share of campaigns, what starts in jest is picked up by a lot of the leftist blogs and columnists, and before you know it, they take it and turn it into a serious issue. Sounds to me like you don't think in this political environment this particular observation will be taken seriously even for a nanosecond.
No, look, this is what they do. We saw it in the presidential election in 2012. We've seen it, throughout the midterm this time. This is what they do. They have their leaders go out and they make, crazy claims, whether it be about women or, the outside spending on our side in the Koch brothers, or what, Nancy Pelosi's just saying about it being the end of the world. That's what they do. They go and make inflammatory comments, and then it's a signal to the rest of their party to go out there and make hay about it. And I mean that they have 50 days left, and it is clear that they really know that they're in a really tough spot.
Okay, Kirsten. Now, Nancy Pelosi also said that 50% of our population isn't even aware of the midterm elections. Do you agree with that statement? And
I don't know what she's basing that off of. I do think that there's an education and awareness that needs to happen over the next 50 days. And I think that's why we've been talking so much over the last year and a half about having people on the ground permanently. That's exactly why, because we can't set up shop 6 months before an election every time and educate people for 6 months and then go away for another year and a half. So that is exactly what we're trying to do here at the RNC. We think that that's our job, it's our role, and there is quite a bit of work that has to be done over the next 50 days to make sure Americans are aware of what's happening and they get out to the polls.
And as Americans go to the polls in 50 days, we have a new look at a recent poll conducted by Politico, dealing with public opinion in battleground states on a variety of hot-button issues, the first being the economy. When asked which party do you trust to handle the economy, the poll found it basically split between Republicans and Democrats, 36% to both major parties and 28% to not sure. Now, I don't know if you guys have checked the crosstabs on the Politico polling. Is there a tradition? Do we usually see these polls weighted with Democrat respondents? What do you think of that?
I'm not entirely sure. I have not looked at the crosstabs of that particular poll, to be honest with you. I do know that number has been moving more and more toward the Republican Party. For a lot of years, that was actually very heavily in, with the Democrats and how to handle the economy. So look, we have a lot of work to do as a country, but I think what that poll is signifying is that there's no longer a trust in President Obama specifically, but also the Democrats to have solutions for how this country gets back on our feet with the economy. So I think that we have to come to the table with some ideas, and I think that's what each of our candidates is out there doing in their respective states.
Well, a poll result that I don't think will come to a surprise to anybody. Voters were asked if they approve of the way Obama is handling the economy. Let's take a look at that. And there you have it. 15% strongly approve, 27% somewhat approve, 20% somewhat disapprove, 37% strongly disapprove. So that's 57% who in some way disapprove of the president's handling of our economy. Kirsten, is this going to negatively impact Senate candidates in the midterms? What are your thoughts?
It is, because remember, a lot of these candidates, whether it be Mary Landrieu, Mark Pryor, Mark Begich, Kay Hagan, they have, if you look at how often they have voted with this president, it's upwards of 95% for each one of them. So this isn't just about the polls showing that Americans are frustrated and done with the president, because they are, but it's also what that president has been doing over the last couple of years, which is his policies that have been negatively impacting Americans. Now we need to make sure that that Americans are going to the polls in the midterms and tying that, Obama and his policies, that these people actually have spent years pushing his policies and implementing them in the Senate. And that's exactly why we need to get rid of Harry Reid, and we need to get rid of these incumbents.
Kirsten, 2 minutes remain. Another question in the poll, and I got to tell you, I really, these results kind of are curious to me. Asked about illegal immigration. Poll asking respondents what should be done. According to Politico, 66% favor comprehensive immigration reform, 51% a pathway to citizenship, 49% oppose a pathway to citizenship. Now, you turn it around and ask, I guess it's how questions are asked. Should illegals be sent home? 49% say yes, 29% say no. In the minute and a half that remains, Kirsten, is it all in the way the question is asked?
Well, I think with any poll question, yes, it is definitely how a question is asked. And I think that we can't just rely on one poll or even two polls to figure out where this country is on the immigration subject. I think that the president has done a disservice in how he has handled this issue, making promises, not keeping promises. And I just think that it has been an unfair conversation that, frankly, I think the American people want to have. So right now, I think trust in this president to handle this issue and any issue is not there, and therefore we need to restart that conversation at another time.
Restart the conversation, but stay the heck away from unilateral executive action. Kirsten Kukowski at the Republican National Committee, we thank you very much for your time. Miranda, I see that question about illegal immigration, and I think about the polling that used to be done during the Reagan tax cuts. Do you want to have taxes cut? And people would go, oh no, because they would think they would be seen as selfish to the pollsters. So sometimes that happens as well. It's all in a way a question is asked. A question for you right now. Do you agree with the findings of that poll? Do you think the Republicans are going to take over the Senate? Why don't you tweet us your comments at Newsmax TV, #America's Forum. And we'll be right back after this timeout.